So that's the agenda. So briefly before Anna introduce this session, so we have just made a few sections like that we will speak about with Serge about a brief introduction to the animation sector, his past experience with digital graphics, a company that he has founded, L'IDEM, which is the school which is based both in Perpignan and Barcelona, where he was teaching, and Cartoon Saloon, which is the Irish animation studio where he is presently working. So whenever you are ready, Anna, maybe you can start.
Just good afternoon to you, and just a second to say thank you to Serge, because after this period we have the opportunity to be here, virtually, okay, but we are here to start with the activity of Working Group 2, and as Puglia region, the animation sector is one of the key sectors identified as a factor of economic growth with an high added value and inclusive youth employment policy potential. We have adopted the strategic plan for culture, and so we are committed to consolidate and increase the presence of the cultural and creative industries in the regional economy. And also in this specific sector, innovative sector of the digital animation. And today with us, there is Cristina Piscitelli from Apulia Film Commission. Apulia Film Commission is for us a strategic partner to carry on all the activities in this sector, and of course in Alice project too. So I think that we can go on with the webinar, and I'm glad to start. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cristina?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, on behalf of our president, Simonetta Della Monaco, I would like to thank you all for participating to this project. As Anna said before, actually animation is becoming a very important sector for us too. And in fact, we have a film fund that normally sustain this kind and finance this kind of projects, but very, very soon, and with Giovanni, we are talking about the possibility to work also with this project. We are launching a call, and a specific call dedicated to animation products. So for us, it's very important, this sector. And I'm sorry because I have to leave. And I'm sorry also because the colleague of mine, Massimo Modugno, who is very specialized in this sector, today had some problems, so he couldn't participate to this webinar. But I'm seeing that you are recording it.
Yes.
Okay, Daniel, because we look forward to, to listen to this webinar.
I've got a Serge authorization already.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. Okay, so thank you to all of you, and of course, I really hope that we can work together very, very soon in Puglia.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So the best is to start now with Serge. Maybe you could introduce yourself, speak about starting about what your background is, and then tell us about the basics of animation as you see.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. My name is Serge, and I started more than 25 years ago now. I'm an architect, and why I mentioned that I'm an architect is really important because there is a lot of people working on the animation or in live action for cinema. They are come from architecture, and it's really interesting because making movies is really complex. It's really artistic, and it's also really technique. And it's like the architecture, and also to make a project, there is a lot of people there is a lot of different kind of job and then it's why it's important to manage everything on the right time and give have a good communication between all the department. That it's why my studies was really important for me to arrive on this sector. And about the production, there is different kind of production. Is for example, you have feature film in live action, or if animation. Maybe today we will more specify the animation. The animation part, there is a short movie and long feature film, TV show. It's quite different. It's really the manner to produce and to create and to build this kind of products is really different, because you know, a long feature, the quality is the main important thing, the story also, and then it takes a lot of time to make a movie on 80 minutes movie or 90 minutes movie. And it's really important. The most important thing to make this kind of production is also the pre-production and the development of the project. Because if you have a good development, you will have something really nice at the end. Here also in the type of production with the gaming, even the gaming industry is really different, because the product is not the same. On a feature film or on a TV show, we have something more linear. We have a story. We start from the beginning to the end. In the gaming industry, you have another aspect, is the interaction with the gamer, and then the story can change during the game. That's the philosophy and the scenario of the game is a little different than the feature. But at the same time, people coming from the game can work in the animation industry, and also the opposite is also possible. There is a lot of school of animation. They are not really provide game designer, but the student can go really easily in the game industry also. That it's this kind of type of production, but at the same time you have also different technique to make movies. You have 2D animation, traditional 2D animation. Now everything is done on computer. Even sometimes we continue to make some basics on paper, but mainly is made by computer. And you have also the 3D or CGI feature. CGI is computer graphics image. It's really, even the structure on making this kind of movie is the same. Even the artists are really different.
And the traditional 2D, then it's more often, there are more often 3D animation now products on the market, or 2D still? Or...
It's really depend, because you know, the market now, you know, on the box office, it's true that now CGI is more powerful. There is more success in 3D. In 2D, it's more artistic project. It's more something with a really good story. Really, it's more really arty project. In my side, I prefer that. I'm more touched by the 2D. It's really strange. I never know why, but I read a lot of scenarii and script, and never 3D script touch me. That's I don't know why. Maybe I will have an answer in the future, but it's not only a question of looking also on the script, because maybe probably a CGR in more action movie is more something, you know, really over animate and stuff like this. I prefer really artistic project.
Okay, thank you. So now we can maybe speak about how you started at digital graphics.
Yeah, I create digital graphics in 1994. And the beginning, the company was a company created for making CGI for architecture. But because if you come back, you know, 30 years ago or 25 years ago, a lot of architecture studio wasn't working on computer. They are only working on paper. And when we could create with my brother the company, it was more to give services from architecture project. But I know when we create this company that very soon the studio will be studio architecture studio will be use computer. That we have the idea to make some starting more in the animation industry. We don't know how it works, and we take this risk, and we have the chance to meet an amazing producer named Arnaud Demung, who was come from the live action, and after it was his transition to animation, and we become friends, and we developed together a lot of short movie. Now we produce probably 15 short movie a year. It's an amazing producer who creates really arty stuff and really different stuff. I like a lot the work he made, and we developed together, I don't remember exactly, but probably 20 short movie in stop motion, in traditional animation, sometimes with special effects on it, really different stuff. And it's like this we began the whole production. But the important thing was that on our studio we developed a lot our main tool. We create our own software. Why we did that? It's because at this time you don't find really software useful to making the project you want to make, and also the products on the market was really expensive, and you have not really possibility to change this kind of tool. That it was, you know, focus on some stuff, but because we develop a really artist project, we need to have something better. That it's why we create our own software and use also a lot of open source software, like Blender, for example. We start using Blender. Blender is a 3D software, very famous now, but 20 years ago it was really a beginning. But it's community of developers who created this software. And now, for example, there is a movie who are nominated to the Oscar last year. I Lost My Body. It's a product made by Blender. That's.
Ask you to come back the way you recruited your animators, because we are in the training working group, and at that time, but I guess maybe now also, could you brief us on the way you find the animators, the professional?
Yeah, you need to know that in Belgium, where I have my.
Hello? 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 You hear me? Hello.
War, and we developed tools to create this color, and the production was only on 3 months, and we have something like 90 minutes to colorize. That it was a huge work, and then at this time we don't really find people to work with us, and finally we ask the Forum. The Forum in Belgium is the entity who for the employed people, and then finally they have some. I have a nurse coming, an accountant coming. I have also a chief coming and stuff from everywhere, and we teach them because we have our own tools, and we teach them exactly how to use that. It works very well, and finally some guys comes from different jobs, finally continue with us in some production after.
So what's your experience on recruiting them? And what the topic maybe we could address is about the schools, because one way, as you said, is to get them from the schools, but there are different kind of schools. There are the specialized one, and then the art schools. So how do you feel about the way they approach the market, the business, and what exactly they are doing in your eyes in terms of quality delivery?
Yeah, information is really important. And then the development of the school also arrive with the development of the production. For example, in Belgium, Wallimage gives us a lot of, funding stuff and develop a lot of stuff. It's why some studio can grow up. It was really cool. And also with the tax shelter in Belgium now, there is also a lot of production coming in Belgium. But the problem is also there is not a lot of school, that it's not easy to reach people, especially now, because there is a lot of production, there is a lot of studio, and then it's not easy to find good people. It's why the formation is really, really important. In France, it's really different. Where I work in Lidem, there is a lot of school in animation, and the main are private. In Belgium, all the schools are from the main are from the state, and it's free. But in France, there is a lot of school. I think Lidem is a member of the RECA. The RECA is an association of the best school in France, and there are 25 members. Only the 25 member is the best school in France, but probably there is 50 or 60 school in France. That it's a different in the different way. And now also the studio, because when I work in Lidem, I was really close to a lot of studio in France and Europe. Now the studio are really looking very talented guy, and sometimes it's not easy because they would like that they have 5 years of experience for just following and sorting from the school. That it's not easy. It's not an easy way to teach the people.
And what are the art schools now? Because we have the specialized one. I mean, this is another way of finding people who are interested by art and design and maybe animation.
Yeah, the school. If I take the example of Lidem, Lidem is a school in Perpignan, and since 7 or 8 years now, they have also a school in Barcelona. It's a post-bac school. That it's a high school.
Secondary school.
Yeah. It's 4 years. And there in Lidem Perpignan, they have 4 different sectors. that there is the audiovisual sector, there is a sound design sector, animation, and also graphic design. Me, I was a supervisor of the animation sector, which was the main one. I think I have in the two schools something like more than 200 students in the two schools. And we developed or 4 year was developed. The first one is more because some students arrive with no knowledge. Then we start from the beginning, from scratch. The first year that they learn everything, start to draw, learning art direction, a lot of stuff like this. And after they start to specialize in different sector, the sector of 2D, the sector of CGI, or the sector of VFX, and sometimes also the sector from game.
So it takes them 3 years to get specialized.
Yeah, they have 3 years to be specialized, but LIDEM is also a professional school, and then they also make courses, very short courses on 6 months, but less in animation, because in animation it's really complicated to teach people in only 6 months. Then we specialize really this guy with the 6 months, but for the other section like web design and stuff like this, in 6 months they can have the level to go.
So the levels are graphic designer can make web design, for example.
Yeah. In graphic designer, there is also an entity of web design, but they made also all the study of commercial publicity and stuff like this.
Okay.
No.
And
the difference between Perpignan and Barcelona is also in Barcelona. There is a lot of very good art school, but you know, from 18 years old to 15 years old to 18 years old, they have really good art school, that when they come on the first year, the level was great. That in Barcelona, the school is really great, because the level of entry is higher. And also we have a lot of students coming from South America, and also they have you know, artistic knowledge, and then it's really nice when they come, because they have this knowledge to start.
You mentioned also the mix of the so-called technical or engineering schools, which are combining more and more.
It's something missing for the moment on a lot of production, because you know, now the quality of the project are really at the top level. There is a lot of technology, new technology in each project. Like as I told you just before, for example, on Blender, it's also a game engine, and there is a. And then if a lot of studio now would like to have the people they call TD, that it's technical director, because the main studio now have a research and development part in their studio, and then you have the engineer who develop tools, and you have the user of the tools, and then to match that together, you need to have a translator, and the TD is the translator. That the TD is a guy who have experience in the artist production, and also is able to understand the development and you know, how to making software. That it will be the link between, and it's something that really research by the studio, because there is no really school to do that, because it's a mix of engineer and mix of artistic parts. And then I know that some student coming from, for example, I met a girl who working now with me in the Cartoon Saloon in Ireland. She's an engineer, and she starts making that, and she comes in Cartoon Saloon, and now she makes the Gobelin after the school in Paris. And now she has the two knowledge, and probably she will be direct to be a TD.
Okay. So I think we can move on to because we have spoken about the long-term schools, like 4 years, 5 years. But what about the initiatives which come very often from private studios, which are organizing like shorter term or medium length training schemes? What do you think about it?
It's not something easy because animation, it's something that you need to practice, and practice. It's really long process. It's why it's not easy in some months to give knowledge to someone, especially if it start from scratch. Now, I know that there is a lot of initiative to take, for example, an artist who are, I don't know, a good drawer, and there is special courses during 3, 4, 5 months to be a storyboarder, for example. In this case, it's more easy, or you have, I don't know, for background artist or for something. But for animation, really the animator, it's practically impossible, because you need really years to be good in animation.
So let's say for a training which would be of a 6 months duration, basically you say it's a very specific, dedicated job for a specific need in the production, but it doesn't give a long-term.
Yeah. For example, with Liam, we made a partnership with a studio in Angoulême, 2D, 3D, 2D, 3D. It's a studio in Angoulême, and we're looking for animators on puppets animation. It's a mix of traditional animation and and more puppet animation. That it's really a mix. And it was for a TV show, because now a lot of TV shows use this technique, and then they teach during 6 months. Sometimes they come at the school, and sometimes they work on the company, and then on the production with the supervisor. But it was continuing teaching. I know sometimes you can have some courses in compositing. It's my work is compositing, that to have a compositing assistant, I'm sure in 5 or 6 months you be able to do that. We are currently developed some courses like this with Cartoon Saloon, and the government of Ireland would like to try to have more and more Irish people coming in this industry, and then we have some help to make that. And I'm currently prepare some different courses, but it's really specific. It's something more specific.
But regarding the, let's say, medium term, I mean 3 times 6 months. Let's take an example. You mentioned the Barcelona schools, which where the teaching is quite high in terms of artistic level. So they don't have to make this first year, buffering year, when they have to start and learn again drawings and so on. So they can jump in more quickly, I guess, to what would be a second year school training. So do you think that it's possible then to get this other way of entering the training schemes.
But 3 times 6 months, it's 18 months.
Yep.
That's, for me, it's become a long term. But I know that there is some studio who create special courses, but it was, you know, 4 months or 5 months. That's all. When you have something with three times 6 months, it becomes really interesting.
Okay, it's less than 4 years
for the complete courses, you know.
Okay, so that would be one way also. One last point on this section. In this section, the recruitment of instructors, because I think our partners regions, if they want to set up some schemes, they will look after good trainers. Mm-hmm. How they could recruit them, or how can you find them on the market?
Yeah. Yes, it's a really complicated point because it clearly depends where the school is. For example, in Perpignan, it was not easy because we don't really have a studio around the school. That is not easy. In Paris, for example, you have a lot of school, but you have a lot of studio, you have a lot of production, and then for the school, it's more easy to recruit because you can recruit people for full time, but you can easily recruit master classes, people for master classes. That it's really interesting, and it's also really important that the instructor are come from the production and are always in production, because our job changed so fast that if you are only teacher, after 2 or 3 years, you are a little out, you know, and it's why it's really important. I have a part-time in them, and I continue to make some production in this on site, but it's depend the school. It's really difficult for some school to recruit people because also it's a question of money, because some in production you are well paid that in like teacher, that yeah, all this factor, it's something to have something different, difficult, you know.
And so there are, so as you say, master classes that you could get the best people for very specialized one.
Yeah, for example, you can have courses during 1 month of I don't know, this kind of animation or this kind of creating background, and one moment you ask during 1 week a specialist who comes and give okay, the student have the knowledge and they learn something new or something special. We did that a lot with Micros, for example. It's a really big company in France, in Belgium, and there is around the world. And then for compositing in VFX, we ask some specialists to come at the school during 1 week, and they have you know, a really big master class, and it's really interesting for the student because they see different manner to do something, and also because the guys is really experiences that it's really great stuff, you know.
Thanks. Now, Cartoon Saloon, that's where you are working presently.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, then I met Cartoon Saloon more than 15 years ago, and because Tom Ward, one of the owner of the company, developed a project named The Secret of Chaos. And I remember I had this project in my hand in 2003, I think so. And finally, I worked with them on this project like we're making all the color character of coloring the character. We made also a lot of special effects on it and a part of the compositing. And after this experience, they asked me to also to co-produce the second movie named The Song of the Sea. Both was nominated to the Oscar, and I was the manager of the color character and also all the compositing. And
you mentioned different things about character design, compositing. Maybe you could also, I'm jumping in because for those who don't know a little about animation, there are a lot of different departments in a company such Cartoon Saloon. You are on the compositing side, so that means that
I've really but my role also, because in compositing, the compositing is the when you compose the final image that you receive from the other department all the elements. For example, you receive the background, you receive the character, animate and color it, you receive the special effects like rain, like smoke, like vehicle moving and stuff like this, and you must to put everything together, and your work is to match all these elements done by different departments and match together to have the impression that we have only one image. That it's why also it's really important that the compositing supervisor is involved from the beginning of the project. For example, for the moment they start the new production called My Father Dragon. It's a Netflix production, and it's a really big budget, and they are always creating the character. They are continue to make the story, but I'm involved each week because there is technical choice to do from the beginning to be sure that we can compose at the end. That and all this technical aspect is really based on the final design of the character. That if the line is drawn like this, you didn't animate at the same way that if the line is different, or if we have texture, or if we have shadow or something like that. That it's why it's important to have a full overview of the production. And like you say, Daniel, there is a lot of department. There is, and each department there are also some under department, sub department. That it's really important. For example, the background. You have one guy who creates the layout. The layout is the first draft of what the background will be. After it go to the line, the guy who just draw the line, and after it goes on the color department. And on the same department, you have three big, and in a movie, you have something like 1,500 scenes. You have probably more than 1,000 background. That's all this background keep and follow the same step.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. And here now in Cartoon Saloon, there are. I mean, because it's two companies, there is another one called Lighthouse. They created this company some years ago with a partner in Canada, and Lighthouse is more focused on TV show, and Cartoon Saloon could continue to make high-level feature film, and some short film. Last year, a short film from Louise Bagnal was also nominated to the Oscar. That the short film is interesting also in the company to to try and to make research of graphic development, and also between two long production, like I just finished yesterday the final image of the Wolfwalkers, the new Thomas More project. It's 3 years or 3 years of production. It's really long, and when you have the possibility to have some short project or development project, you can put that between the different production.
Okay. So I think this will be part of another webinar to explain how the pipeline, that's a specific,
yeah, it's really complex.
Word for flow, because we had discussed it over. What is a pipeline? Does it mean? Mm-hmm. So I tried to explain, but I'm not sure myself that it's all the process of making the workflow work.
Yeah, a pipeline is something that you need to go from point A to B, but there is a lot of different direction, and you open the the
Pandora box.
Yeah, to go there, and it's really complex. And now also we are helped by special production software because, for example, only on the compositing department, on the last project, I have 1,800 scenes, and I have maybe 5 or 6 different steps on each scene. That it means that we have something like 10,000 tasks to do, and then it's a lot only for my department. That if you can imagine, if you have maybe we have 15 or 20 different departments, it's why the pipe is really important, that it's fluid as possible. And another point is that my role is really important to follow from the beginning, because if any department have trouble or they are late on the production, it's like a card game. Everything could be broken, and then it's really important to have an overview on each department, that we have tools with statistics to be sure that everything arrives at the right time.
Just on the
also, just to finish, because the final deadline is the same. That if you are late and everything is for the last department, and it's very often for mine, it's not easy to manage.
Cartoon Saloon, you said that there are 300 animators working presently. Yeah, all coming from all over Europe, I guess.
Well, with the both company. In Cartoon Saloon, there are something 125, and the other company is 175, something like that. But it's move a lot because Ireland is a small country. The studio is in Kilkenny, it's a small town. That it's not easy, but the studio is really famous now. That we have. Probably 80% of the job come from outside. That we have a lot of French people, a lot of Spanish, South America, from Norway, from everywhere. It's also really interesting culturally, because there is a lot of different talent with different culture, and it's really rich for us.
But why does Ireland is so attractive? There are also, I guess, smaller studios, like a lot of different scale, size studios in Ireland, not only...
Yeah, it's changed so fast, because I don't know if it's the reason, but probably because Cartoon Saloon was nominated in the Oscar 10 years ago, and then probably the government think that it's a good way to invest, because as you see, production is a lot of people, it's a lot of job, that it's also a lot of money, and it's nice for the authorities. Nice, for example, Kilkenny, it's a small town, but everybody knows Cartoon Saloon. There is it's fun because in some restaurant you have the Cartoon Saloon menu, because there are a lot of artists are vegan or vegetarian, that they have special menu on the restaurant. It's really nice, and it's also because economically it's really interesting for the town.
One of the issues we are addressing is the mobility of talent. That means, i.e., how to keep them. So we discussed it over before this meeting, that you said there are some internal measures that Cartoon Saloon is taking.
Mm-hmm.
It's about human resources management, and also how to make it.
It's the difficulty of each company's studio. It's to keep the good talent in place. When you are in Paris, it's less complicated because you have a lot of production at the same time. But when you have only one or two studios, it's why it's important to have to have a production. You need to have funding, and to have people working on the production, you need to have school. And then all this triangle is really important to have. If you have only the funding, maybe you will have some studio coming, but at the same time you need to have school, or you need to have something to attract, to keep people on the place. That this triangle is really, for me, important. For example, in Perpignan, okay, we have the school, but we don't have studio. Then we have the difficulty to find a good teacher, and all our students can't work in Perpignan. They work everywhere in France or in other country, but not in Perpignan, because we don't have studio. And we don't have studio because we don't have really funding. You know, it's really important to see that in Belgium, when Wallimage starting to give some funding to develop company and to develop production, but directly studio coming, and then the production grow, production arriving from France, for example, and the texture was created, and blah blah blah. It's really important, because the producer didn't go where there is no fund.
So we took some different examples from your experience, or at least Luxembourg you know well, because you have worked with a company 352, which is the Luxembourgian prefix, the phone number. And what's your view on the different schemes which are around?
Yeah, Luxembourg, for example, Luxembourg, I work a lot with 352 and Melusine production. It's a great studio in Luxembourg, and then they have an automatic system for funding, that for them it's really comfortable, because they can attract a really good project. And my friend who have the studio, he has the same team since 25 years. It's always the same team, and growing up different the production, but their system, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's based on some points, that if you have, for example, supervisor background, you have this kind of points, and then you have this kind of money, and it's automatic. You don't need to show the project or defend the project. It's just a question of it's an economical system. That it's I think it's an idea. Or if I see Angoulême, they since a long time now, they have special fund on the town and on the region, and then it's why they attract a lot of studio, and then because they attract studio, they also attract some school. Yeah, and then finally everybody can work together, and and also you need to know that a production now is always a co-production, that each region can find a way to be attractive, because it's interesting if you are attractive, but you could be a co-producer from a project from France, from Germany, or from
One thing we have discussed together before was about development money, because this is something which could keep and attract also the talent in between productions. I mean, if you have a development money, that's what we talked last time we spoke.
It's very often the main problem is the development money, because, you know, to develop a project, it takes a lot of time, and it's why for me it's really important to have this kind of money, because yeah, okay, the studio can take times and give a part of their money to develop some stuff, but it's practically impossible to develop this alone. When you need to write a script, it takes months and months, and there is some help for and developing money for the script, but you are also the developing character, and also sometimes you need to develop a teaser. It's a small animation that of 30 seconds or something like that, just to find some other co-producer for the sellers and stuff like this. That for me, the development is really the most complicated part, because yeah, it's important to develop good projects, and for that it takes time, that it takes money. It gives less money.
Look what appears on the screen. Thank you. We are supposed to have a Q&A session, so we have been longer, of course, than we thought. But,
sorry, I speak too much.
But I think it would be good maybe to ask our partners if they have any questions which come to their mind. This session will be recorded, and we will share the minutes. So I guess we will have also maybe some feedback after this meeting. I leave the floor to those who wish to ask a question. Is there anyone? Maybe no. The hidden.
Yeah, I have one. I have one.
Oh!
You know, in PROA, in order to prepare this working group, on February we make a meeting with some of the more representative schools here, and also with our producers, because from our perspective, it's quite interesting to find the link between training and production companies. No? So we detect some needs here that maybe if you want, I can translate the document and after that give you it. And one of the actions that, as a conclusion, that what can we do with the training here in Catalonia, using the ALICE tool. And one of them was find, how you say in English, convenios, some paper, some official agreement in order to promote the training, our degrees, our proto-professionals into the other ALICE territories. So you, Serge, you have experience with this multicultural
groups, training groups, just I think young people, no, that come from different schools, different ways, different training school. How you manage this diversity?
Really easily, because finally the artistic part is the most important. We teach really the important thing is the teacher are experiences, and the language is the same, because it's the drawing, it's the script and everything like that. That it's even you explain to a French guy or a Spanish guy or an Italian guy, it's the same, because the language is the same. The manner to do the thing is the same, and very often it's easily to explain when you can draw something.
Mm-hmm.
That for me it wasn't really complicated. Even we have difference. I saw the difference between France and Spain and Barcelona, for example. I saw the students are really different because their culture are different. But finally, the movie we made have exactly the same language. It's not the same story, but it's the same. It's really the same language. That for us it was really easy to manage. And also in Lidam Barcelona, I organize each year when I worked there a summit of animation, and then it was the a really important day for the student, that the student from Perpignan comes in Barcelona, and I invite between 30 and 40 different studios from around the world coming in Barcelona, and we develop this event. The first day was more the studio who present their work, making masterclass and some workshop. And the 2 day of this 3D summit was the student who present directly to the studio manager their work. And I was in the middle and say, okay, I know that this studio searching for 2D animator, this studio wants a VFX artist, this studio also thing, and I say, okay, go to see the student, because the student have a good knowledge in drawings, this one is better in VFX, and finally it was really helpful for the studio. And each year the event growing up each year, and also for the student, because they have the possibility in one day to meet the main important people in the sector, and directly with the main manager from a big studio or something like that. But for the students, it was also really great.
So I think, sorry, I think that one good conclusion of this this webinar is that animation language is an easy area to find or to sign agreements between governments to improve this trainers' mobility. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's easier that in other audiovisual areas that need another kind of language.
Yeah, sure.
And I think Lidem, there was a certificate issue that they got a French certification.
Yeah.
And we, at this level, we could also tackle the issue of a European long life learning certificate, which could be the way to match the different training schemes and to have a common ground for the schemes which could be implemented.
Yes, because another, and I'm sorry, maybe you want to finish now, or can I make another question?
No problem.
Sure.
Now, another point that we discovered that was is that there is not so much homogenization between different programs in the different schools. Private or public ones, they have not so much dialogue, so the formation that the students get in one is, so maybe that the idea that Daniel is exposing, that find some kind of certificate that can homogenize this formation could be an interesting point.
Yeah, at the university level, they have Bologna, and now they will have Puglia certificate. Okay. So maybe we can end up the session here, because I know you, Serge, you have to go to your screening on the other side of Paris. And as you told me that you are not taking the metro, but you are walking, so I hope it's not
clever, smart boy.
Yeah. No,
so we, on behalf of all the members, partners, we thank you very much, so much. And I'm sure that we'll have the occasion to exchange in the future in person.
Yeah, okay, hope so.
Thank you, all of us. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Serge. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.